Welcome to the Flip the Switch podcast, where we flip the switch on everything.
That's everything.
Oh, do I say it too? Wait, I wasn't sure.
Oh, that part didn't matter. Just Drake
took
forever to come in.
Oh God! All right.
Hey, you know I'm gonna leave that in there, right?
We got to.
But today, and for once a month for the rest of our lives. Well, I don't know about the rest of our lives. We might not be doing this for the rest of our lives. But for a long time coming, for sure, once a month, this is the Flip the Switch podcast, featuring or presenting the Switch the Manifest podcast. And this time, it ain't just me and Dre. Once a month, y'all gonna get me, myself, Mark Augustus, DeandreOfficial, and the great Miss Arilia Winn. Hey, I need a one of them applause things or something on
Yeah,
the,
you do.
Be doing the thing. I need one of those. I'm gonna get one. So what's the deal? What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing today? How y'all feeling this morning?
We feeling good,
Pretty
man.
good.
I'm feeling good. Ready to get this started.
So before we get into our content for the day, we're gonna play a little game.
Okay.
All right. So it's two truths and a lie. So.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I'm trying to think who should be the one that give the two truths and a lie, and who should be the two that guess. Many money, okay, type by so it has a little go.
Let's do rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, I'm down. Let's go. Three-way. Let's go.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Wait, Dre, what did you do?
I didn't see Dre.
My screen froze. Like as soon as
Did you do scissors?
I guess on the one, yeah. I didn't. I did scissors, but I didn't realize it was so low. Like I was
wow.
This. I didn't realize. I'm like, wait, that's not on the screen. They can't see that.
Oh man.
But
all right,
yeah,
we gotta do it
I
again.
did scissors.
All right,
let's go. All right,
here we go.
Now. Let's go.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Scissors. All right, see.
What the heck?
I had a rock. Boom.
So what does that
I got
mean?
paper and then he got scissors.
I got scissors.
Oh.
So what does that mean? Okay, so one more time. Is that? I don't know what that means.
Who won that?
I don't know.
I won.
Technically, nobody won because
I won. Because paper covers rock.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
but then.
Oh man.
But then the rock. Man.
This might not work. Work.
All right, let's try it one more time. Let's see. Dre beat both of us.
I beat both of y'all.
All right.
So Dre got to do it.
Okay, what am I doing?
Two truths and one lie.
Two truths.
And me and the road, you got to figure out which one's the lie.
Oh yeah.
Two truths and one lie.
You know what? Nah, let's do it differently. Two lies and one truth.
Two lies and one truth.
Yeah.
Okay. Dang. All right. All right, hold on. I'm almost there. I almost got it. Hold on.
See, this is because Dre is such an honest person. It's hard for him to actually lie.
Well, I don't want to say them one by one, and you can tell which one is a lie. Like I don't want to give it away by body language. So I'm trying to think of all three.
Oh my gosh!
So I won't give one away. Okay. All right. Got that one.
Oh shoot! Let me see.
Okay. All right. I got it. All right. So you said two lies, one truth, right?
Yep.
Okay. So my height is 5'10". I took a child parenting class just for the girls. And I wear a size 15 shoe.
So what do we got to pick? The truth or what?
Yeah, you gotta figure out which one's the truth.
Say it one more time.
So I am 5'10". That's my height. I went to a child parenting class. I took a child parenting class just for the girls. And I wear a size 15 in shoes.
I'm going with you 5'10". Is the truth.
That's the truth?
That's what I'm saying it is, but...
Two lies and the truth. Oh, okay, yeah. No. I don't know. I feel like you didn't take the parenting class.
So you think that's a lie? You gotta figure out which one is the truth.
Whoa, so which one's the truth? Oh, no, I think that one's the truth. I think the other two are
okay.
Yeah.
So Arilia is right, actually.
Oh, really?
I took a child parenting class just for the girls. I knew it would be girls in there. So that's why I took
Hey. I'm like,
hey, you know what? Hey.
And I don't know about that two sides.
Hey, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
When you said for the girls, I wasn't thinking for the girls. I was thinking you was like for your daughter type for the girls.
No.
That's why I was like, when he said girls with an S, I was like, nah, he ain't taking for his kids. I'm pretty sure he ain't do that. So I'm gonna go with the 5'10" part. I ain't seen you in a long time either, so I forgot your height. That was cool. That was cool. Dang.
Yeah.
I thought right too. I was like, he ain't in no child parenting class.
Yes, sir.
For sure. All right, bet. All right. I'm gonna go next time. I'm gonna do the next one next time.
Okay.
I'm gonna think nice, long, and hard so I can make it real tough.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm gonna have y'all thinking. I'm gonna give y'all a whole brain teaser.
That's what's
All
up.
right, so today's topic is on manifesting, and I kind of want to give more of an understanding of what manifesting is, and then I got a couple of questions for y'all in particular. So, or at least one for sure, and then we'll go from there. But for those that don't know, I want to give a brief context and background on how this podcast in particular came about. We had Arilia Winn almost a year ago. She came on as our first guest. Huh?
I just said, dang, it's been that long. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
Time goes by.
If I'm not mistaken, she came on in May because it was for the Mother's Day series that we did, or the motherhood series that we did. So, dang, February, March, April. Yeah, like 4 months. So what? 8 months ago? 8 months ago. Dang.
Yeah.
So 8 months ago, she came on. We had her come on. Dre knew her before I did, so he introduced us. And me personally, I loved the vibe and everything. I was like, "Yo, this is dope." I could see us working with her again, have her come back on. And then we brought her back on again. She actually had something in mind that she wanted to talk about this time. So we had her come back on last August. I think it was like August 4th. And with that, we had that conversation really talking about manifestation and why believers get out manifested by non-believers or unbelievers.
Yeah.
And so with that, that for me, it kind of flipped the switch in my own mind, no pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this would be great. This is what we could really talk about. And you know what I'm saying? Like have as a whole other thing with Arilia. If we just did it consistently, we could talk about this. And on top of that, I feel like there was, I think the question that Dre asked us was, why do we feel people aren't manifesting the life that they want or something like that? And I feel like there were so many answers to that question that we could only say like one thing each. And I mean, and there was so many more answers left unanswered, so to speak, or not given, that I was like, we can talk about this again. And so now the concept of Switch to Manifest as a podcast is here. So, first question before we get into the definition of what a manifest is, because we're actually going to be coming from the perspective of an airline manifest, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But how do y'all feel about this podcast? How do y'all feel? You know what I'm saying, with us getting into it. How y'all feeling?
I'm feeling great about it. I know the last time when we made the plan to talk about the podcast, and we kind of talked about service and stuff like that. That was really going through my mind about like how what kind of services I want to manifest in my life, how to offer service, and what that does with manifestation in your life by giving yourself away. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about these things. I'm pretty sure that it's way more to unpack, and I know I'm gonna learn a lot. So yeah.
Nice. Arilia?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of Dre, I'm so excited. I actually, when you guys were like, "Hey, we should do this as a whole podcast," I was kind of shocked. Like, what? Okay, but I feel the same as you. Like, okay, there was a lot more left to talk about after that episode that we had, and I was just like, okay, yeah, I agree that there was still a lot of more things to talk about that we didn't have a chance to. So yeah. I'm excited about it. And I mean, just with, I don't want to get too far ahead, but just like with manifesting, I think it starts out as a thought, and then it grows into like a behavior, kind of like you're kind of getting yourself ready, that you kind of move things around in your life to get ready for it. And then before you know it, it's there and it's happening. And so I feel like we all kind of together brought this thing forth and manifested it together. And here we are,
nice.
Getting ready.
That's true. We manifested this podcast.
Yeah. But there was some action behind it. Like, it took a thought, we had to put our heads together. We thought about it. Okay, what can we do? Get this time on our schedule, make room for it. And then now here it is. Yeah.
No, for real.
Starts as a thought and becomes a behavior. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a bar.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make that into a reel on Instagram. I like that. So I had another thought, but it left. I don't even know what it was now. But so for those that don't know, when you get on an airplane or when you get your ticket and all that good stuff, there's a manifest that is created. So the manifest report, the airline manifest report, is basically a list of everything from the airline, the airplane, the passengers, their tickets. The passengers are sorted by departure date and indicates departure and arrival dates, flight numbers, origin, and destination cities, departure and arrival times. The list, it also includes each passenger on the flight and their ticket number. And the report lists the total number of passengers on each flight for each group. I can't remember the website I got it off of, but I'll definitely share the link in the comment section or wherever we post this at. But the thought that I had was, when you hear the term or the phrase "switch to manifest," I believe everyone has a list of things that they want to do, that they want to accomplish. We could to keep it simple, we could say everybody has a list of goals, whether it's written out physically or it's just in their minds and hearts. But everybody has a manifest, a list of goals that they want to accomplish throughout their lives. We can even go into even like a bucket list. Like, everybody has a bucket list. Everybody's like, oh, I always wanted to go here. I always wanted to go to Miami, Florida. I always wanted to go to Miami Beach. I always wanted to go to Universal Studios. I always wanted to go to Disney World. I always wanted to go to Australia, or always wanted to star in a movie. I always wanted to make music, or, whatever it is. Everybody has a bucket list. Everybody has a list of goals that they want to accomplish throughout their lives. So the idea behind this, though, is what's keeping you from manifesting that life? What's keeping you from accomplishing the things that's on your bucket list? And I think sometimes there's another list that's that's in play as well. And there's a list of procrastination, spending time being envious of others. You have all these other things that are negative, and we'll just refer to it as the negative list for now, right? And on this negative list, it's all the different things that causes us to either doubt ourselves, or we look at other people and just focus so much on other people and what they're doing. We pay no attention to what we have, to what we're capable of doing, to our skills, to the wisdom that we have, if we have any, to the lessons that are presented for us to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much on this negative list, and it's time for us to switch that manifest. It's time for us to switch that list and create a new list where it's not about everybody else and what everybody else does, but it's about service. It's about how can I serve everyone else? Because at the end of the day, customer service to me is the best field that anybody can get into. If you look at Steve Jobs, Miles Monroe, you look at Chadwick Boseman, rest in peace. You look at all these different people in these different fields, they all served their customers and they all served them well. Now, I could be, I don't want to say I could be cliche. I don't want to say it's cliche. I could say, Jesus was the best customer service person representative of all time, which is facts. But I'm not going to do that today. I want people to look at people in their own lives. I want you to think about people in your own life, whether it's your mom, your dad, your grandma, your uncle, auntie, or whoever, people that served in the military, people that serve at a company where, they're making some great money or whatever it is, looking at your brother, your sister, whoever, and look at what they're doing in life. Now, if you feel like you're listening to this and you feel like, well, I don't have anybody, I don't have any role models, I don't have any people to look at to help me to figure out how to manifest the life that I want. Okay, go research other people. Think about what you want to do in life, and then research, or not even so much what you want to do in life. Think about the things that you have a passion for, right? Think about the things that the things that you have a passion for, and then from there, go and research people that are doing just that. So, with that being said, because I said all that because I'm not really going to be doing as much talking as y'all. So I had to get that out for context and for understanding and to really provoke people's thoughts and everything. But first question is, and I'm gonna point this to Dre first. Well, no, ladies first. So Arilia, you have a publishing company, but you don't just have one. You got, I think, 9 now? 8. Oh, okay. So, okay. But you got 8 publishing companies. How did you get to the point of manifesting even just the first one?
Honestly, that wasn't something that I really, well, maybe I did. Now that I think about it, maybe I did. It came out of someone asking me to publish their book. It was my cousin. She knew that I had worked for a publisher. And my whole point in working with a publisher was I thought that was going to be my foot in the door to getting my book published. I just thought, okay, I'm going to work for this publisher and they're going to get to know me and we'll build a relationship and I'll tell them, hey, I have a book that I want to publish and then I'll be a published author. So that was my goal, was to become a published author through somebody else publishing my stuff. I didn't set out to become a published author by publishing it myself. That kind of, I feel like life took a turn there, but it took a turn for the better than what I had ever imagined. And so, but yeah, no, my cousin asked me, she said, will you publish my book? I said, sure. In theory, I knew how to do it, but I had never done it. So I think like after she asked me to publish her book, I wrote my own book within, I want to say 30 days. I wrote a book and published it and put it out there and was like, oh, okay, so I do know how to do this. I was like, okay, bet. Like, okay, yeah, I can really publish her book. And so after I did hers, it wasn't easy. It was pretty difficult. It took us all that year to get it done. January 2018 is when we kind of started, but her book didn't get published until December. And so, but the fact is we went through that process together, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, just, I tell people all the time, like, after you publish your first book, you're probably going to want to publish another. It's like you get bit by this, I want to say it's like a feeling of euphoria. Like, it feels good to accomplish that goal. And for me, it's like, okay, this is a goal that I can continue to accomplish and enjoy. And so that's how I got started with that.
Nice. So question, did she know that you knew how to publish books?
No, I didn't even, well, I knew that I had the skills to do it, but no, she didn't know that we had a conversation about, my only job at the publishing house was to edit books. So not only did I like edit her things, but I did tell her, I was the layout editor at my college. So I worked on the college newspaper where I designed literally a 10-page spread newspaper, and I had people turning in their stories and things like that. And we won awards for our newspaper. And so I felt somewhat confident. I was like, okay, it's the same program. I'm just turning it into a book. And I just did a little bit of training and read up on like the specifics on how to do it as far as like measurements within this program. And so from then on, I mean, I tried it out myself and it looked good. Like my first book looked good, except I didn't edit my book. And so I like, you can't purchase my first book because I unpublished it because it was terrible. But it was terrible. But it, as far as like the aesthetics, it looked good. Like it looked good if there would have been no editing or typo in it. And so I was like, okay, I definitely can do it. And from then on, like, there's been no stopping.
Nice. Yo, I got a question because I already knew. I remember when you were writing. You know what I mean? Like I remember when you were going through the phase of you. I don't remember you weren't publishing books, but you were writing a lot, and you had a passion for writing. You were good at it. When did writing start in your life? When did you start writing? Because I feel like that's kind of what led to all of this.
Oh yeah, since I was my daughter's age, she is 6. I had a diary. I think that was one of the things that I got for Christmas was like a diary, and I would just be writing. As a little kid, you have like a crush or whatever, so I would write all my stuff down in my diary, like and then like from there it turned into like, I've always loved R&B, so I love poems. So that was my thing. I always connected like love songs to poetry. So I started writing out poems, and then I think my mom entered me into a poetry contest. So I had to recite other people's work, and just from learning other people's work, it kind of helped my own craft as far as like writing poetry, because somehow I just understood like, oh, okay, I like this poem. I can see the format. Okay, I'm gonna not copy it, but take the format and make it my own and add my own words into it. And just from poetry, it just developed more into like storytelling, and it just builded on just my love for writing in my diary at first.
Interesting. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And so a lot of my writing now, like I have a short story, a book that's out, and it's not even that long. It's actually the beginning of a bigger, of 3 other short story books. And so in it, I include poetry. Like I just feel like I include poetry in any of my writing. You're gonna get it. So I think that also is what makes me different from a lot of the other writers is I just include it. It's hard not to.
Nice.
Wow, that's dope.
So for those that don't know, Dre or DeandreOfficial to y'all, Dre to me. But so Dre is a rap artist. I would just say musician though, because he can produce too and things like that. So, but Dre is a musician, but he's also an author, and a teacher, So, man, I'm trying to figure out which one I'm gonna go with. Since we already kind of talked about books, I'm gonna go with the artistry part. So with the musician part of it, how how did you get to that point of manifesting those things? Because you have what, 2 projects right now, the Experience and Waves, but you had another project before the Experience, right?
I've made a few projects before.
Okay.
The
So
Experience.
how you
The
get
Experience
to
was the first
manifest?
one ever in stores. So I think music was something that kind of like stumbled upon me. It was really weird. One of my homeboys just randomly one day was like, yo, can you rap? And I'm like, I don't know if I can rap. You know what I mean? It's like I never tried. You know, he bought a speaker over to my house. He had one that was a tape player and another speaker. So I used to have a bunk bed in my house, in my room. It was weird because I didn't have nobody that slept in my room. I just wanted a bunk bed because I just wanted to put stuff at the top.
Spoiled.
So I had a tape. I would put the tape player at the top bunk and then put another speaker next to it. You know, so I'm like standing in front of it. And then, you know, he was like, he put on the instrumental. He was like, yo, let's write some stuff. And I just started writing stuff. And I remember the first rhyme that I had was I rhymed action with Jackson. And when I said it out loud, and they were like, oh, you know, it's like you did 2 words. We don't usually hear that. It was like, that's kind of tight. You know, you should keep doing this. And I was like, I think I will, you know? And like I took maybe like a few weeks later, I recorded a tape. A physical like cassette tape, and I went and I sold it at my high off of my bunk bed, man, and I sold it at my high school for like $2 a tape, and then like I used to battle dudes like during gym class, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So it kind of escalated from there. I recorded it. I found this studio that was downtown that was just open to the public. You just had to pay for whatever physical thing you take away. So if you burn a CD, you got to pay for the CD. But the usage was completely free. You could just go up in there. And they had Mac laptops like with the Apple Mac, like the old school Mac. Like it was it was dope. So you had to go up in there and record on that. I made a few CDs, and then, you know, I think my passion carried me out here too. That was one of the reasons why I came out here. It was another reason why to come see my father. But I was already thinking like, okay, I would probably have better opportunity, you know, with music if I came out here. And as soon as I came out here, you know, I started working with a label pretty early, did a couple of shows. It didn't go too far. We dismantled that label. And then me and Ronnie started HME, which you know about. And then when me and Ronnie started HME, we figured out how to get into stores, You know, they started offering these independent label services that you can just sign to online, and then you can get a physical album put inside of stores. We found this old cool white dude that knew how to print CDs. And then, you know, he printed us like hundreds of physical copies. We used to go perform at churches and just sell the physical copies. We had it in plastic and everything, man. It was like, it was legit, you know what I'm saying? It felt good. It felt good, you know? And then you recently saw the video I posted about, you know, going viral, the 42K, you know, having a video with 42,000 views on YouTube. And I feel like, you know, it all started from there. Like if I tell this story again, it's all the same thing. Hey, I was recording on the tape of my top bunk and I ride action with Jackson, man. That's the beginning.
I want to say something.
I didn't give up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so cool, Drake. Because I think that's how I first met you, was with Ronnie. And I remember we were all sitting down and we just started freestyling. I think Ronnie gave the beat, like everybody. I remember Dre. I think I might have said, you know, just a little one-liner or something. I don't really, you know. And then I was like, dang, okay, but yeah, like every time Dre's name came about, it was always about some type of freestyle, some type of rap he had going on. And so I can attest to that. Definitely, it's been in your blood.
Yeah, man, it's just...
yeah, like you said, yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
so
man.
did the tapes that you sold at your high school, did they sell like pretty good?
They sold pretty good. I think, you know, I'm learning. I had to reteach myself all this now. I'm learning it more again now because it's COVID and we had to, you know, kind of figure out more ways to perform again. So I think it's that balance of hearing audio but seeing performance that helps it sell. So the tape was doing okay, but when I started battling dudes, you know what I'm saying, I'm rapping out loud, they hear that like, oh yeah, I want your tape. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna get the tape now. You know, so it's that being seen factor. I think that's also part of manifestation. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not afraid to put what you believe out there. You know what I'm saying? I'll put that in front of you. You know, I admire, you know, Ronnie, I mentioned him a little bit earlier, or Elance to y'all, you know, but just that I see the same thing in him. You know, he mentions music to me, and then he mentions the music. He's like, man, let me write the song. You know, he's gonna put on the beat, he's gonna rap it to me, and then he's gonna explain to me all the lyrics and exactly what it means. You know, like he's not afraid. Every time he mentions it, he's not gonna mention it without performing it. You know what I mean? Right. And that's what causes me to believe in him more and more every time he creates something. You know, so I had to drop that gem in there real quick. You know, I think that's part of like what brings it out is you putting it out there.
Yeah. No, I just a quick side note. Like that's one thing I do love about Elance is he gives a whole complete breakdown of his lyrics, and I love it because when you get into the breakdown of it, the picture that he's trying to paint musically to you becomes so much more vivid, you know what I'm saying, in the breakdown of it. It's like, oh shoot, like, okay, yeah, I really feel what you're saying now, like, because he makes it even more relatable to you, or even more you know what I'm saying, he gives even more understanding of it. So let me ask y'all this. I mean, whoever wants to go first can go first.
Let me say this real quick though. Like, you know, so I like his songs, but I can hear him talk about music all day. You know, so I wanted to say that real quick to say, like, even Arilia, like when you were I was listening so hard because I can hear you talk about your book journey all day. It's like that story, and then you're vivid in how you tell that story, and then the passion that you tell it with, I can hear it all day, and I think that's also part of why you manifested what you did because you tell your story, you know, and you tell your story with conviction and passion. You can hear that mess. All right, Mark, go ahead.
No, you was good. That's one thing I will say is that I love having a good conversation that includes passion and conviction, because when you have those two things in the mix of the conversation, you can talk about it and listen to the person all day long. Like, at least I know that I can. But I know, like, one of my best gifts, which can also get me in trouble every now and then, is my mouth. Like, I can literally hold a really good conversation, hold a really good creative conversation and everything. But, you know, every now and then, you know what I'm saying, I sometimes I say things, and a lot of times it's because I really don't care whatever you got to say or whatever. I'm just going to say it, and however you feel is just how you feel. And, you know, but so I wouldn't say so much my mouth as it would just be, I don't really care. But, you know what I'm saying? So with both of you guys manifesting these different things, these different parts of your lives, or different aspects, however, you know, you want to say it. And whoever wants to go first can go first or whatever, but what type of action did you have to put into it? And, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll even say this because I do believe that this is part of it. I believe you have to sacrifice things. You have to sacrifice time. You have to sacrifice, you know, food sometimes or whatever. You have to sacrifice sleep. So what action did you have to put into manifesting these different things? Dre, again, like your book, or really, you know, your books and your publishing companies, and Dre's music projects and everything. What action did you guys have to put behind it, and what are some things that you guys had to sacrifice to ensure that it actually comes to fruition? I probably said that last word wrong, but it's okay though.
Well, ladies first.
Oh man, I was gonna say, go ahead, Trey.
Both of you guys are so humble.
Let's see. Wait, ask the question again. What was one of the things that I had to do to manifest it, and then what did I have to sacrifice?
Yeah, like what are some actions that you had to put into manifesting the ideas that you had to, and then what are some things that you had to sacrifice to make sure those ideas manifested?
One of the things that I had to do was honestly some training. And I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier, like, hold up, like I knew that I could do it, but I wanted to be sure, and I wanted to make sure that I did it the right way, because in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, even if this is my first project, like my name is still going to be on it. So I want it to be my best. I want it to reflect where I'm at right now. And so I said, let me do some training. So I had to look up some things just because I didn't know everything, and I didn't want to move forward with that kind of mindset thinking that I knew everything. So I just looked up like, okay, how do you publish a book? How do I do this? And I did so much research, and a lot of it was just confirmation that I knew what I was doing, and a lot of it also was assurance, but some of it was like, oh, I picked up a few things along the way that I didn't know about. And so I was like, okay, cool. And even now I still do some training just because I want to make sure that I'm at my best. But one of those things definitely is continuous training on the craft and on my business and stuff. But one of the things that I had to sacrifice, I want to say, is my ego, because I know that I like to do well. And sometimes like I said, I don't know everything. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And so when that gets pointed out to you, it's like, oh man, I'm doing all this. I thought I had it, but then it's like, no, you go to your ego. And then it's like, sometimes our head gets big because it just does, when you feel like you're super confident, you know what you're doing. It only takes like, oh no, you didn't know that. Oh, it's like, okay, so I don't know everything, kind of thing. I want to say definitely my ego again. And that's just, like I said, just because I want to make sure that everything I'm doing is done to the best that it can be. And so my ego is just in knowing that, no, there's still more work to be done. Like, you're not like, I'm not even at the mark yet. But I think I've done pretty darn good. Like, I'm not at the mark yet, not yet. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And our ego shows up in so many different parts of our lives that limits us and stop us from doing stuff. So yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. So with me, I think that the thing that I have to give up that really seems easy to give up until it's time to do it is time itself. I feel like me and time are in a constant fight all the time. Like I've had great moments of making my time serve me, but that's always my goal, right? To be in control of my time. And like with the things that I've done with teaching, it's been spending time, working on the gift. I went from spending time working on the gift and spending time learning. I have to actually make time to learn. At first, I used to just try to learn on the fly. Whatever I hear, if I catch something, if I catch a podcast, if I catch this. But now I have to be intentional about learning. You know what I mean? I want to learn this because I want to teach here. God's calling me to teach here. So now I got to learn about this. You know what I mean? If I want to teach about, if I feel like I'm dealing with anxiety and I feel like God wants me to start teaching about anxiety, I have to make time to go learn, to go learn about it. And somebody once told me, like, yo, man, you got a gift, and you know, if you don't sharpen it, it's going to get dull. Like, I love it, but if you just remember, always remember, whatever gift you got, if you don't sharpen it, it's going to get dull. So it's just going to happen. You might be even still using it, and you don't even know that it's gotten dull. But you're not sure. You got to make sure you always are sharpening it. So I feel like that's what happens with teaching, with writing. Same thing. Time. I had to spend time alone, time by myself. You know, I used to go to Starbucks every day after work and just spend a few hours in there just writing something. And with music, same thing. Spend time learning about music, spend time learning about the industry, spend time learning about myself and what I really like and what I really want, challenging myself on different types of music. You know, some of the lingo, different types of flows, different types of, you know, it's all about time. And I think one of the things that I'm good at is creating, but one of the things I wasn't always great at is, so like earlier I spoke about performance, you know, being out there performing is what helps, you know, get your stuff out. Is what helps sell the stuff. So I love to perform, but I wasn't always great at seeking out the opportunities. So I had to spend time seeking out opportunities now. You know what I mean? I used to never set aside time for that. Like, I actually spend time. One of the things that you do really, like when you show like a list of all these Instagrammers that have books and stuff, I'm like, okay, I got you. If you just spend some time, you know, looking, this stuff is out here. You know, it's like, but you got to sacrifice. You got to say, all right, I'm not doing nothing else, but I'm about to sit here and spend time on this. You know, so I think time is the main thing that I've had to sacrifice for action. You know what I'm saying? It's sacrificing time for learning and for action. You know, so yeah.
Interesting. I love that both of you guys pretty much said, you know, you have to take time to train or to learn. You know, it's two different words, but it's really the same thing. Like, you have to take time to, you know what I'm saying? You have to sacrifice time, right? In order to give time to your craft, so that way you can get better and that way you can go further. Random question. What would you say to, well, let me give a little bit of a small context. For people who may have grown up with the teaching or the ideology that pretty much, like, don't seek the opportunities or whatever, just make sure you're doing it for Christ, because for Christ is, you know,
I remember I used to hear that. Go ahead, keep going. Yeah. I'm not going to cut you off, but it kind of triggered me.
So you know what I'm saying?
Made me feel like, hold on, I wonder if that's kind of deep embedded inside of me, and that's probably one of the reasons why I used to not do it. But go ahead.
So you know, all right. So for those that, you know, have grown up with the teaching and ideology of, you know, don't seek after opportunities, just, you know, just focus on doing it for Jesus or for Christ, and just remember that only what you do for Christ will last. Me personally, and because I feel like that's part of my struggle with me manifesting the life that I want to live, because I find it way easier. Like, if it's like, just focus on Jesus and just make sure I do this for Jesus. Oh, I got that down pat. Like, yeah, I even sometimes feel like nobody can do that better than me. That's how well I feel like I do that. That's how confident I am in that part.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is I think there's not, if you're not operating in a from a spirit of pride or haughtiness, you know, just that cockiness, right? But you're operating just from a sense of, or a spirit of confidence and humility. I don't think there's anything wrong with seeking opportunities to, you know what I'm saying, to go teach or to go rap or to go do an event, you know what I mean? Like, to go do whatever. That, you know, I've also heard the scripture being used, you know, that your gift will make room for you, and you know, promotion comes from God. But I feel like people, when you teach people those things and you try to apply those scriptures to life in that context, I feel like you're telling people basically just ask God for it and He'll just give it to you, versus you know what I'm saying, versus helping people to understand that, yeah, God does want to, you know, help you to manifest things through his spirit and everything, but you still got to put in some work too. So what would you say to people who think that basically, okay, if I just pray, God will make it happen, and whenever God makes it happen, it's just whenever it happens?
Do you still want to keep going first, or you want me to?
No, you go first.
You want me to give you okay, yeah, okay. Because I'm like, at first it's kind of respectful. It's kind of rude if you don't want to.
We can switch off every other one.
No, wow, like no lie, like you reciting those scriptures right now, like triggered me. This is like therapy for me, because I'm wondering if like those were deeply embedded inside of me. You know what I mean? Like your gift will make room for you. Promotion comes from God. What's the other one you said?
Your gift will make room for you. Promotion comes from God. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank now.
Yeah, but no, I remember hearing a whole lot of.
Only. Sorry, pardon me. Cutting you off. Only what you do for Christ will last. That's yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, and I've heard a whole lot of teaching about, you know, not seeking opportunities, but covered by scriptures like that. I've even heard people say, like, you know, I've heard people attack other believers that's artists, saying that, oh, you know, looking at photo shoots and stuff like that, like, oh man, if they was really doing it for God, they wouldn't be doing all this. This is all this self-promotion, you know what I mean, and all this stuff like that. Like I remember kind of being scarred by a lot of that stuff. But I'll say this though, I think now, like, I think the truth of, I think there's some truth in that idea, you know what I'm saying, about what to seek, because, you know, scripture does tell us, seek first the kingdom of God, and all things will be added to you. So I think there is a truth, and you know, or I think there's a way to seek opportunities that can be detrimental. You know, I think if the opportunity makes you compromise, then that can be detrimental. So I think there is a truth, you know, in there, but I don't think that seeking opportunity within itself is evil, you know. So this is what I would tell somebody that's kind of been scarred by that. One thing, you know, Jesus says that the greatest in the kingdom is the servant of all, right? So if you have something that you need to serve, then if you don't want to see it in the realm of seeking opportunities, see it in the realm of seeking relationships, because that's how I've been doing it lately now. Like, I feel like I'm partnering with these businesses. I feel like I'm winning souls by getting this relationship and working with this person. You know what I mean? So I am seeking opportunities too, but I'm seeking relationships. I think relationships are what brings the wealth. There's a parable that Jesus tells his disciples about a manager who, you know, cut deals for everybody that was working for somebody else that he was working for. And Jesus goes on to tell him, like, yo, like, if you use your worldly wealth to create relationships, then, you know, that's eternal dwellings for you. They'll have eternal dwellings for you. So I really do believe that our goal as believers is to seek out as many relationships as possible. And if they're in your field, that makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? Then, yeah.
Right.
You guys have the same mission. Even if you don't have the same, maybe the same mission is inspiration. Maybe it's not that they're believers, but the same mission is inspiration. You still win a soul by forming a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, you should believe that your presence around that person will make their lives better, you know, in some type of way, right? Whether they become believers or not, you're a blessing to them. So that's how I've seen the usage of my gift lately to kind of free me from not seeking out opportunities, you know. But now that you've said some of those things, though, like I said, I feel kind of triggered. Maybe, you know, some of that teaching was hidden deep inside, because I do think we get touched psychologically, you know what I'm saying, by the things that we hear, even when we don't know it, you know. So it's almost like you just gave words to some of the feelings that I've had about seeking out opportunities. But the things that I've done within myself, though, to make sure that I do seek out opportunities is seek out relationships. I'm like, I want this relationship to grow, and I'll pray about that, and then I move. I start asking people things. I start asking for help. I start, trying to get more. I start even looking at myself, thinking about the things that I'm not great at. Okay, who's great at this? Who do I need to talk to? Mark, that's how me and you became stronger in ministry. I knew I wasn't great at connecting people. I was praying to God about it. He's like, that guy is. Well, I need to hit him up then. We need to connect even deeper. We need to form another relationship around that,
Right.
So yeah, that's what I would tell them. I would tell them, seek out relationships then, We just had a quiet moment.
I don't
know. Yeah, I was finished. I thought you were going to say.
Oh, no, I thought Ray was going to.
Oh, what was the question?
Oh, yeah.
Say something, Mark. I don't know if you have something to say to that or what. Cool, man. Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, Mark.
I said a lot of what I was going to say for this episode, like at the beginning, because like even for this podcast, I really want to try to have you guys do more speaking than me. Okay. I feel like I get a lot out on the Flip the Switch podcast, so but on here I try to give a little bit more opportunity for you guys to kind of spend a little bit more time on the mic than me. But yeah, the question is basically, what would you say to people who kind of have this ideology of basically don't seek the opportunity, like the opportunity to come, just seek out seek ye first the kingdom of God, and just remember your gifts will make room for you, blah blah blah. Like the way that it's kind of the way that I generally hear it or commonly hear it talked about or preached or taught is as if we don't have a part to play in manifesting the life that is in our hearts to manifest, or to manifest the ideas that God gave us to manifest. It's like, you'll hear things like write down the vision, make it plain, but then it's like, so that men will run with it. And so it's like, yeah, but you don't stop there. You're supposed to, put in some work. But I do believe that there is, like Dre said, there is a way to seek opportunities without compromising yourself and without compromising, your belief in Christ, your faith and everything. So, what would you say to people who kind of teach from that perspective of, it's almost like they just want to put you on lockdown.
Yeah.
It's like saying, be a good little boy or be a good little girl.
Yeah.
Right. It's things that happen to you.
No,
I'm sorry. As a disclaimer too, I'm not trying to say that that's the actual intention of people when they say it or when they teach it or preach it or leaders or whoever. I'm just saying that that's how it a lot of times comes off. So whoever might be listening to this, just know I don't mean that with any ill intention towards anybody, because I don't know anybody's heart like that. I just know that again, that's how it a lot of times it comes off. That's the vibe. That's the that's the way it sounds a lot of the times is pretty much like just lock yourself down, you know what I'm saying? And just do whatever you can for Christ. Just focus on Christ. But then it's like, I'm not really focusing on the craft to get better at it. I'm just like, and then I look at people crazy when they don't want to do it for free or, because this is for Jesus. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, come on, man. Like there's more to it than just that. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. And just that term that you kept using, like lockdown, I think that though their intentions are probably good and positive in saying those things, I just don't think it's said, to be harmful. But I think it is because it limits that person. And I feel like there's definitely a lot, we haven't really got into like, how do you manifest things yet? But I feel like we will eventually. But one of those things is getting rid of those limiting beliefs, and I think that a lot of that is set and rooted in fear. Like, why am I not gonna go and promote myself? I think that a way to manifest what you want is by positioning yourself to receive that thing. So you can't just say, oh, I'm just going to go pray to God for a house, but you haven't checked your finances. You don't know what your credit score is. You haven't gone to look for a house. You haven't positioned yourself. You're just praying, God, I want a house, and you're not doing anything. And I think that those ideas that you shared kind of feel that way. Like, all I have to do is just pray for it and it's going to come to me, or I don't have to do as much work, or I don't have to consider my position to get those things. And sometimes there are cases where it's just a miracle, and yeah, you don't have to do anything. But more times than not, you have to position yourself in order to receive those things that you're asking for. And part of positioning yourself is by speaking up and opening your mouth, because there's also plenty of scriptures. And one of the ones that comes to mind is what is it? Dang, I don't.
When that happens,
I can look it up. Hang on. It talks about knocking on the door repeatedly, and seeking, asking, but it says
it's in Matthew.
so
I don't know the exact address, but
yeah,
I know it's in Matthew.
I don't know the exact one, but it talks about doing so repeatedly. So obviously that lets you know right there that some action has to be taken if for the things that you desire. You have to do something. You can't just kick back and relax and not do anything. But I think I also want to piggyback off of something that Dre said, and that's giving. And one of the greatest commandments, and it says it in the Bible, is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And so if I'm loving my neighbor, I know that I give myself things. And if I'm loving my neighbor as I love myself, I'm going to give them things as well. And like Dre said, what better thing to give them than something that I'm good at, or a service, or my time, or those things. And just through that, the more opportunities that you seek to do those things, to give, it's just gonna bless you in return, right? Because the more you give, the more that you will receive, and it's just that cycle. And so if you're not seeking out those opportunities to give, if you're not seeking out those opportunities to love your neighbor as you love yourself, you're limiting yourself. And I think that sometimes, we share scripture in a well-intended meaning, but I also think that we cut people short by not bringing it full circle, by not including all of the word of God, but by just cutting it to, just a couple scriptures. I think we have to look at the whole book and not just a few of the chapters in the book.
Yeah, and I think what it puts a limit on, I think, is the concept of what your faith is really supposed to look like. Because I think what I think God is trying to do through us through prayer is to get us to work in faith. You know what I'm saying? Like you pray so that you can work in faith. You work believing that God is about to do whatever it is that he said that he was going to do. Dietrich had, it's like you work because he's able. He's just, that's why you work, right? So I think like myself, I missed that part. It wasn't tangible for me because of the way that it was, fed to me. I felt like, okay, praying means that stuff will happen. I know I'm supposed to do stuff, but I didn't know that like the stuff that I'm supposed to do is the stuff that's towards what I'm praying for, and God is going to show me the way as I'm going. You know what I mean? So it's me working and him coming with me to show me how to work and when to work and where to put stuff. So at the word, faith without works is dead. And we say that. Right. We be saying that. But I think the problem is we say that, but we've kind of made works morality. You know what I'm saying? So like when we see like faith without works is dead, we kind of think like, okay, that means you have to work on being good, But no, I believe no, you have to work on serving, because even the example that he gave was you can't just say your brother is hungry. You can't just say I pray for you. You got to give him a meal. You can't just say your brother is cold. You and I pray for you. You got to give him a blanket. So even his example was about service. Work means you give people things. You know what I'm saying? You go, and I think if we connect that with our gifts, you know what I'm saying? What we believe God gave us, yeah, serve that thing. Go ahead and serve it. And I think that's where your faith comes in at. You start seeing God work. You start seeing His work. It's more than your morality. You know what I'm saying? Those principles just shape how you serve, but you serve. You gotta go.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Y'all got me taking notes and everything, man. I mean,
no, get this.
Now, as I love to say, you know what I'm saying? Let's get this life together. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is normally, let's get what's going to empower us to live life. You know what I mean? To live that life that Jesus died for us for. But we wrapping up. There's some things that you guys said that was brought out that I want to get into as just the last of this for this episode. Dre said something that I was like, okay, that, makes it a little bit more understandable and a little bit more motivating and encouraging when it comes to the idea of seeking opportunities. And you brought up about serving. And so what came to my mind was, seek to serve, like, you know what I mean? Like, look for those opportunities for you to serve, in that area or in that community. Like I said, I can't say yay or nay to whether or not people have the ill intention of I'm trying to just put you on lockdown, or, do they have do they mean well? And I think there are a lot of them that do mean well. They just, like I say, it gets back to that point though of it still comes off as if works is, like Dre said, a morality issue or something. And it's like, but if you don't put in the action, then how can you say that you have faith in that thing? If you don't seek to serve people with your gifts, then how can you really say that you have faith or confidence? So another idea is that you have to look for a job, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so the only difference between 9 to 5 and an opportunity is you're not contracted to a regular time frame of 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or whatever, 6 to 2:30 or whatever. You're not contracted in that sense, but seeking opportunities as an entrepreneur or with your gifts to be contracted in legally speaking, it's the same thing as looking for a job. The only difference is that with entrepreneurs, we have multiple jobs, right? You get multiple contracts, you get multiple things to do because your job, your ultimate job is to serve. But at the end of the day, you're looking at, how can I serve over here? How can I serve over here? How can I get a team together so we can, enlarge our reach, so we can go serve in other places, in other capacities, other communities. So seeking after opportunities, I'll say this: seeking after opportunities is not a bad thing. Now, your reason or your motives for seeking after opportunities could be a bad thing, right? But if you're seeking to serve, if you're seeking to, how can I help these people over here? How can I, maybe for somebody that's with a mindset of, how can I help get homeless people off the street? Then it's like, okay, cool. Like, but if you're seeking because it's like just for money purposes, then that's where you might want to check your heart, because
I don't even think, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, because I was going to say, it even depends on the reason you're looking for, for opportunities for money. Because if I'm coming from the perspective of, I'm trying to get these opportunities so I can feed my family, that's not a bad thing. Because you got to take care of your family, right? But if you just maybe money hungry, then that's going to be a different thing. If you just money hungry, power hungry, or whatever, that's different. But if you have a reason for the money, like if it's like beyond you and your, yourself, like, yeah, even you have to eat. But if it's like, I just want money just because I want money, yeah, then check your heart. But if you like, yo, I need money because I need to get this so I can do this, so I can serve a little bit better here, and I can, enlarge my reach here. Like, like I started doing the t-shirts thing and merch thing and Patreon and doing all these other different things to for a few reasons. One, because I don't want to have all my eggs in one basket. Two, I want to feed my family. Three, I don't believe in 9-to-5s. I don't like 9-to-5s. Now, have I had to do them, and do I still do them? Yeah, because I don't really have that much of a choice right now. That's going to be the fastest way, so to speak, for me to have recurring, consistent income for now to feed my kids and my wife, right? But other than that, I'm also doing it because I need to be able to invest in my family. I need to invest in my wife, my kids, and I need to invest in my communities. I need to invest in people like Dre and Arilia whenever I have the chance to. You know what I'm saying? I need to invest in others because for me personally, my heart is that of a servant. So I'm looking like, okay, how can I serve you guys? But I can't always, like, sometimes financial resources are necessary in order to invest in other people or to invest in other communities. So there's nothing wrong with seeking after financial resources. It's just, again, your reasoning for seeking after those financial resources. So, you know what I'm saying? 2 questions that I want to leave with people, and then you guys can give your last comments and whatever else that's on your heart to give before we jump up out of here. But for the people that's listening, and even for us, what are you serving? Like what are you giving, or what are you manifesting that will serve others, that will serve your communities, that will even serve your family even? And then 2, who are you serving? Like, what communities are you in that's, and you're giving to those people? Like, who are you serving and what are you serving? So, who are, y'all can, ladies first, men first. I don't know how y'all want to do it. Y'all,
So you did? Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, I know you did 2 in a row. Do you want me to do 2 in a row?
No, that's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Because I think I got this one. So, who am I serving?
Oh, she's about to shut it down.
Okay, listen up. So, no, really though, who am I serving? Definitely others. Like, not even like hypothetically, like tangibly, like practically. It's so interesting because it even was like a prayer answered. I was just like, okay, like what can I do next? I'm still in the process of wrapping up. I'm working with a couple authors, but their projects are getting ready to be done. And I have a couple that are in queue as far as like sending them offer letters and stuff. And so, but still my prayer was like, okay, God, like what should I do next? And just one simple word, it was just give. And I was like, okay, like give what? And then things kind of just fell into place to where somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that I knew, right? Networking, right? Through networking, I met this guy who has a venue spot. So long story short, I was getting ready to have this event January 23rd called the Sunshine Handmade Market. It was going to be hosted by my bookstore. And just my mindset for doing that was I wanted to give back, and I still want to give back to the communities that I'm in. So answering kind of both questions in one, the communities that I'm in, authors, creators, makers, artists, this creative community, I want to give back, especially now, and even small businesses too, because during this pandemic, yes, a lot of people have died, but I feel like a lot of dreams have died also. And I think that level of grief to lose your dream due to a pandemic is terrible. I don't know if it's on the same scale. I don't know. I don't know if it's on the same level as losing somebody, but to lose your dream because you can't financially afford to keep running it is also a terrible feeling. And so just with that in my mind, I was just like, okay, I want to give people an opportunity to come to this event, to sell their books or to sell their artwork, to sell their crafts that they've made, whatever it is that they created, and have a chance to support them practically, not just through prayer, and through best wishes, but in a practical manner. And although because of coronavirus, it had to be postponed, I still know that God's going to make a way for it to happen in the community that I'm physically in here in Orange County, California. And so, and again, back to what we were saying earlier, just giving, you know what I mean? Just giving in that way. And using what I have, using my gifts of gab. Honestly, someone told me a long time ago, like I should be a realtor because I could sell pretty much, you know, I could sell a house if I wanted to. I thought that was kind, but I said, well, no, I said, God gave me this gift of gab to use it further. I don't know if it's to sell houses yet, but I'm not there yet. I'm not really interested either. I think I just want to do what I'm doing now. But, yeah, but just that's it to answer your question. Is just, you know, I want to give to my tribe, and not to say that I don't want to give to others who are not in my tribe, but I use that like as my boundaries, just because there's so much work to be done in our world. Like I can't do it all, so I'm going to focus on this part right here, because I feel like that's what God has called me to do, is to focus on this community of people. And even though right now I'm talking about like business people, makers, creators, things like that, but also, you know, the community of African-American women, also victims of trauma, just because I can relate to them. So for me, it's like I'm giving back to these people, and it's tangible things, practical things that will change their life. And so, yeah, that, just to answer your question, is that's what and that's who.
That's dope. Man, so I think, you know, overall, what my heart is to serve, to give is wisdom, you know, whether it shows up in music or writing or preaching, you know, like my goal is to give wisdom. The word says that God made Jesus Christ to be wisdom. So, you know, I do hold Jesus as all of my principles, you know what I mean? All of my aim for what I want people to become. But I want to give people wisdom. Like I want to see people become who God made them to be, you know? So I think that's what I give. And like the communities that I give it to is, you know, the Black community. Overall, I've always been passionate about activism. And, you know, I got put on like Malcolm X really young and started paying attention to a lot of the stuff that was happening inside of the environment. So, you know, I worked in the mental education, special ed field for a while. You know, I was in mental health for a while. And you know, but that's also part of the whole, not just the Black community, but really youth and young adults. Like I have a heart for youth and young adults. Like I want them to have the wisdom that they need to become who they're supposed to be, and particularly Black ones. You know, I think we've suffered, and you know, I see the need. So that's one need that I want to attack, and the kingdom. Us, you know what I'm saying? Believers. I think we have a lot going against us also. And I want to even be more specific about that. Black believers, you know what I'm saying? African American believers. I think our experience with Christianity in America is unique. I think it's really unique, really different from how we got it and how we use it. You know, I think it's really unique. So I feel like, you know, that group of people needs God's wisdom. And I include myself in that. But I work on me gaining it as much as possible. And then God has gifted me to give it away in words And the main ways that I give it away is preaching, music, and writing, So that's what I give and who I give it to.
Nice. Well, listen, that is it for this episode. Y'all hit it out the park. Like I learned. I feel I'm really glad that I had that random question pop up because I didn't have that plan. Like that was like literally as you guys were talking, it popped up, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna roll with it. And I'm glad that I did because as Jay started talking, and I really got into that part of the conversation. It helped me out too, and I didn't realize that. I think it started to help me to become more free with the idea of like, you know what, like, yo, use your gifts, use your skills, use your wisdom that God gave you. And then, you know what I'm saying, as you go, as you create and as you serve, you know what I'm saying, seek more opportunities to serve. Where else can you serve? Where else can you do video editing at? Where else can you, produce music at? Where else can you do? And, you know what I'm saying, who can you do it for? And so, I feel like, Dre, you reminded me, I feel like both of you guys reminded me of basically who I really am, the type of person that I really am. Before I really got into my adult years of understanding, hey, you got all these financial responsibilities that you got to take care of. You know what I'm saying? And it was, but before that, I had much more of a mindset of just to serve, and I love to serve, and that's always been my thing. Even now, I love to serve, but I think sometimes I get caught up by the financial responsibilities and all the things that financial responsibilities entails. So, but real quick before we let out, again, thank you to our audience, to who are listening and watching. Thank you guys for supporting. Please share this with people that that you know and don't know. Share it on your profile on your Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and wherever else. Share it with people that you know, that you that are on your heart, that you feel could benefit from the knowledge and wisdom that is in this and understanding. Real quick, to let us out, if you guys can just give a quick 30-second encouragement of 30 to 45-second encouragement to people who just they have the desire to manifest the life that's in their hearts, but for one reason or another, they're just struggling with it. They don't really know how. And, more than likely because of the struggle, there is a sense of doubt and discouragement in play. So, if you guys can give 30 to 45 seconds each, and then we'll bounce out from there.
Okay. I'll go first. So I think the first step in figuring out how to manifest the life that you want is figuring out who you are. Get some alone time, get by yourself, and write some things down about who you are, what you like. And I'm not just talking about the intangible things about your character, but even the intangible things about your interests. What are you into? What do you really like to do? What's therapeutic to you? What's passionate to you? I would write down everything that I do that gives me therapy. I would write down everything that I do, every problem that I see in different industries that I may want to solve. What frustrates me? You know what I'm saying? That I want to go handle, So figure out who you are, figure out what you like to do, and figure out what you want to do. Because I really believe that God has given us the gift of being able to comprise our own mission if we get some vision, you know what I mean? But you can't get that without getting along by yourself and figuring out who you are. And I believe that's the first step.
Yeah, wow, that's really good. Wow, I mean, shoot, I ain't got nothing to say. You took mine. No, but really, I think what came to mind while he was talking about that, I think is just imagination. I think, I don't even know when it happens. Yeah. Like a lot of people forget, like when you were a kid, you probably did. Like some people will be like, "Nah, really, no. You probably played with like action figures or dinosaurs or cars or Barbies or little stick figures, rocks, whatever. Even if you were that, you had something that you played with and gave a voice, and you had them doing things, and you used your imagination at that point. And I feel like a lot of people get stuck because they can't, or they don't sit long enough to use their imagination to come up with a solution to their own problem. A lot of times we know what to do, but it just doesn't come out because we, for whatever reason, we let, like you said, doubt or discouragement or those different things stop us, when a lot of times, like, just to solve your own problem is just, what can I do? And just answering that question, coming up with a list of answers, like, okay, I can do, you could probably do 10 different things to get out of your problem. And you just got to start doing those 10 different things until you reach the solution. And a lot of it is just using your imagination, but also stepping into your own courage. Think about something that you were successful at before. What did it take for you to be successful at that? Well, apply that to the same situation. Use that same strength. Use that same strength to get over this next situation. And I bet you will, because it's already in you. Like, you just got to sit and think. You got to imagine, you got to use your imagination a little bit. And just be willing to roll with it, and just be willing to say, hey, okay, I'm going to try these 10 different things. Something's going to happen, right? That consistency, that courage, and tapping into that strength that you already have. Okay, maybe that was 3 things, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Listen, thank y'all for everything. Again, shout out to the listening audience. We appreciate you guys, and we look forward to seeing y'all. Well, myself and Dre, we'll see y'all next week. But we'll be back with Arilia next month. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.